All right, we're live. We are live. We're live. We're live. Let's check the audio check. Mic check. Mic check. Okay, mic check is good. So we were right here. We were discussing this thing. This thing is, where is it? It's the, no, this is, oh, this is the previous video. So, or no, this is the current video. So where is the video we were watching? I closed it. So this is, let me get the title. Okay. Let me search for it.
It's said that the enigmatic and let's consider the second case. Rejoined. Clock itself will have traversed a distance v times d prime over c. We can now see that d prime, and v times d prime over c all form a right triangle.
Is this where we were?
Prime over c. The clock itself will have traversed a distance v times d prime over c. We can now see that d prime, and v times d prime over c.
Okay, so let's look at these numbers. So this is d prime. That's true. This is d. This is, so how did we get this? I forgot. This is, in order to get this distance, so this is the speed. I think this is the speed. No, this is the time. This is t. Wait, what? How did they get this value? This is the last thing we got. So from this ratio
over d. We next note that in the time d prime over c, that it takes the moving clock to tick. The clock itself will have traversed a distance v times d prime over c.
Why? Why is that? What is d prime? D prime over c is t prime. So this distance, right, this is t prime. This is the time it took for this to get to here. This is the time, right? It's the time for the diagonal tick. So it took the time to get here. That's t prime. And t prime is t times d prime over d. So the speed of the wave times t prime is d prime. So t prime, just the time, is d prime over c. So this is d prime over c times v.
The clock itself will have traversed a distance v times d prime over c.
Right. It's v times t prime. That's good. Okay.
We can now see that d prime, and v times d prime over c all form a right triangle.
Yes, it's a right triangle.
And thus, via the Pythagorean relation, we can express d in terms of d prime.
Right. So this squared plus this squared equals this squared. So d prime squared is equal to d squared plus v times d prime over c squared. Yes.
That is, d equals the.
So we move this term over. So d squared is equal to d prime squared minus vd prime over c squared.
Square root of d prime squared.
Which is, yeah.
Minus v times d prime over c squared. Plugging this expression into our ratio, we.
So So now we have d. But this is d expressed purely as d prime, and v and c, but it's pure d prime. So we can have a d prime notation, okay?
squared. Plugging this expression into our ratio, we can factor out the d prime in the denominator and cancel
Equal
it with the d
what?
prime in the
But
numerator to leave the expression 1 divided by the square root
is
of
what?
1 minus v squared over c squared.
Is what? Equals
Look
what?
familiar? Well, it should, because it turns out that a sound clock in motion with
Equals
respect to
what?
familiar
Is this guy out
1
of his mind?
numerator prime in
There's no equation. There's no equal
squared
sign.
minus v
So it's t prime over t. It's the ratio. This is the time dilation. This is literally the time dilation. By how much is the time getting dilated?
v times d prime over c squared. Plugging this
No, they shouldn't do this. They should say t prime over t is equal to d prime over this thing.
expression into our ratio, we can factor
That's good. But this is just t prime over t. This is just the time dilation factor. This is gamma. So what do you do now? There's a lot of d primes in here. If you could just get rid of them or something.
out the d prime in the denominator.
So it's 1 minus, right, because this is basically, there's d prime here, I guess squared, and d prime here squared. So you can pull out maybe the d prime squared.
Plugging this expression into our ratio, we can factor out the d prime in the
So the d prime squared comes out. So this is going to be 1 minus v squared over c squared. Or v over c squared, okay.
the denominator and cancel it with the d prime in the factor out the d prime in the denominator and cancel it with the d prime in the numerator to leave the expression
out.
and cancel it with the d prime in the numerator
That's
to
amazing.
leave the expression 1 divided by the
That's the time dilation. Okay, finally I know how to derive the, what's his name? Lorentz transformation. Okay, finally I understand it. Today I understood time dilation.
square root of 1 minus v squared over c squared. 1 divided cancel it with square root of 1 minus v squared over c squared.
Okay, straightforward.
Look familiar? Well, it should, because it turns out that a sound clock in motion with respect to the air will experience an effect exactly analogous to that which we understand in relativity to be the phenomenon of time dilation. That is, the sound clock's rate of ticking will be slow.
They're showing light as like a laser beam instead of a wave. So they still haven't figured out that light is a wave, even though we know from quantum mechanics light is a wave.
Time dilation. That is, the sound clock's
Let me check if they're pinging me. I'm waiting for them to ping me to join a discussion. La
rate of ticking will be
okay, what's this? What's going on here?
time dilation. That is, the sound clock's rate of ticking will be slowed down by a factor determined via.
I think it's t prime over t. So the moving t over normal t is 1 over gamma. So you can take t moving is equal to t rest because it's t prime over t. So, okay, now I'm tired. So t moving is equal to t rest. But this is from from the point of view of the ether, of the water. So somebody who's stationary about the water, he says, okay, the ticking. This is not time. This is ticking. The ticking rate. It's not time. It's just a ticking rate, which is, you could argue that's the time. If if we're talking about light, then it would be you know the internal clock, but it's just the ticking of clocks. So ticking of the moving clock has slowed down by how much? Well, take the t rest, the original ticking at rest, which is kind of fast, and you divide by something smaller than 1, which makes it bigger than the original. So you're incrementing it. You're decrementing it. So you're taking t moving, the ticking of the moving clock has to be slower per time, per second. There has to be less, it should take more time for it to tick. This is the ticking rate. The time of the moving clock, the ticking of the moving clock is slower relative to an inertial observer, relative to, oh my God, I can't think. That's it. My brain has completely shut down. Yeah, it's too late. All right, we're going to have to come back to this later. Okay, good. We made some progress. Okay, see you tomorrow.